Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Melissa and this is Melissa Knits for Fun. Today it's all about the test knits and the works in progress. I've made some pretty significant progress over the last week, but didn't get anything off of the needles. But be on the lookout next week for one at least that should come off of the needles. In addition to that, we're going to talk about my reckless yarn spending and get to a personal update. So if this sounds like your type of fun and you want a virtual knit night, grab your knitting, sit down, and stay a spell. I do not know why I do this to myself. I say all the time, I'm going to lay off the test knits. I really, I want to knit on the things that I want to knit on. And then along comes a new test knit that is just gorgeous. And it seduces me. Case in point, I shared on my latest knit and chat, I shared 3 test knits that I'm already working on. And I signed up and got accepted for one more and signed up for yet another one. We'll start with the ones that I've already shared and share my progress on them because I did not do that in the knit and chat. The first one, I'll start with the smallest one. This is my little, got a little hair on there. I shed, let me tell you, anything that I knit has pieces of me knitted into it because it's got my hair. This is the Little Forest of Arda by Melanie Rountree. You can see that I've got a lot of the color work done down here, these beautiful cabled trees. They're a little bit, you can see they're a little puffy right now. That will all take care of itself during blocking. And I've got just a few more. I'm a little over halfway done with the chart. I'm almost done with this body, and then I'll just have the sleeves. And these sleeves only take like a couple of hours because they're, for a 2-year-old, they're really, really easy. So this is the one that in all reality should come off the needles by next week. But boy, it is just so cute. I cannot wait to be able to put it up next to my adult one and see how cute they are as a set. As I said, this one, hopefully next week, but we'll see because I got a lot of other things going on. So one of the newest ones that I had applied for and gotten accepted for is the Lucid, and that is by Turquoise Toque Designs. Sorry about that. I was sitting on it and I haven't gotten a whole lot done on this. I'll put a picture up here so you can see what it's supposed to look like. You won't be able to tell anything by this. I have just cast on. I did finally decide what color I wanted to use, and it is this beautiful, it is a discontinued yarn, but it is this beautiful Queensland recycled tweed, and it is the color licorice. And I'm going to bring it closer. You can see the little tweedy bits, and while that looks very brown, in person it's more of a deep, rich, kind of burgundy brown, but it's more on the burgundy side. So I have just cast on and done the very first part, which is some setup rows and some increases for your front. You've got your front on either side, then you've got your sleeves. It is a saddle shoulder, so you're doing your sleeves. Then you have all of this here is the back, and you've got a couple of areas here where you have the ribbing. And then this part here will just be stockinette. It is really, really pretty. It's working up really well. It is a really nice yarn. I wish they hadn't have discontinued this because it really is nice. We'll see as we go along how much I like it, right? Because sometimes initial thoughts can change, but I have a feeling that I am really going to like this, and I may have to hunt down some more of this before it completely goes away. Next is, let's talk about the one I just signed up for. Haven't even cast on yet. My swatch is still drying, so I've got to make sure that I can meet gauge. But it is, I have just forgotten the name of it. It is by Marley Bird, and I will put the name up, and I'll also put her Instagram photo of it. but it is a new test knit. It's kind of a tight deadline. So this one I'll be really focusing on. It is the end of this month that it is due, but it is going to be done. It's just this really pretty classic. It's got the neckline and the cuffs of the sleeves have some really cool details, and it is in an Aran weight yarn. I think she holds a DK and a mohair together in her sample. I'm going to use Drops Air, and I'm going to use it in this beautiful blue color. This is called Bluebird, and this was one of my reckless spending buys, but boy, am I glad that I did do that, because this is just going to be stunning in that sweater. I just got the pattern, so I haven't even gotten to cast on yet. Like I said, my swatch is just drying, so presuming that I get gauge, then I will cast on either tonight at knit night, but probably not, because I'll probably let it dry till tomorrow. So it'll probably be tomorrow before I cast it on, and then we'll see how quickly things go. And last but not least is the one that I committed to first. It does not have a deadline until it's either, I think it's the 1st of October or the middle of October. And I've made some pretty significant progress on this. If you remember the last episode, I had the sleeves, right? So I still have the sleeves done, obviously, but I had the sleeves done, and I had just barely cast on the ribbing around the bottom. Literally just had a couple of rows and was able to tell, you know, is it going to fit around me? Is it going to be okay? Because I showed you I tried it on. Well, I want you to look at how much I've gotten done on this body. And I'm working really hard here to try to get it. Well, I just dropped some stitches. Oh well, I'll get them back on, but I'm working really hard. It's stockinette, so it is bottom up, and so it's kind of rolling. But there you go. I have gotten this much done on the body. Now the body will be, I like mine about, I usually do it 14 inches before I do a 2-inch rib, so about 16 inches from my underarm down to where I want it to hit. So you can see I've made some pretty significant progress, nowhere near 16 inches, but I am getting there slowly but surely. And this yarn is Let Loopy, and it's in 3 colorways. It's in chocolate, ash, and black sheep. Now I want to talk about something that really surprised me. Really surprised me about this yarn. This yarn is rustic. If you have ever used it, you know this is a pretty rustic yarn. And a lot of people who say, I don't have problems with yarn, it doesn't feel prickly, they will have problems with this. So far I haven't. We'll see what happens whenever I have a full pullover, if I'm going to have to wear something under it. But with this being this rustic, I thought I'd be able to like look at it cross-eyed and just barely do anything. Magic, it would spit splice together. That is not the case. Trying to get this yarn to spit splice together is like, I don't know, pulling teeth. It is hard. You cannot just take the end, even though it looks like you should be able to, right? It's pretty fuzzy. Let me bring this up. Look how fuzzy that yarn is. And it is 100% wool. Looks like you should just be able to put it next to the other one, get it a little wet. When I spit splice, I don't spit in my hand. I usually grab it and I put it in my mouth. Get it a little wet, and then I put them there, rub them together pretty briskly, get the fiber out of my mouth, and usually it splices together. I keep knitting, I go along my way. Not with this. It takes forever, and you have to separate the end. You have to kind of pull those fibers apart, and then you have to do that on the other end. Then you have to put them together, and you can't just put them in your mouth, because then that puts the fiber back together. So I still don't spit in my hand. I think that's kind of gross. So, but I will lick my fingers and get it wet. There's ways to do it. You can use water. I haven't tried water. Honestly, as I was told one time, there's something about probably the enzymes in your spit that sounds gross, but it is something that helps it adhere. But boy, you have to really work. And it usually takes me 4 to 5 times of trying before I can actually get this to spit splice. But I am not weaving all these ends in because there are 13 balls of this, and that would be 26 ends. That is not happening. So I persevere. It eventually spit splices, and then I go on. Now, it does give me great hope that it may not felt as easily as I think it would if I can't get it to spit splice together. That's not to say I'm gonna like throw it in the washing machine on hot and high agitation. I'm not gonna do anything like that. Probably how I will block it is I will soak it. Well, I'll steam block it first actually and see if that works, because that's what I did with the sleeves, and you can see it steam blocked really, really nicely, and it's got a nice halo. It's really pretty yarn. And so I will steam block it first and then see if I like how it feels and like how it wears. If not, I'll wet block it, and I will put it in the washing machine to spin the water out. I don't know that I'll run it through gentle cycle first, although I will tell you, I did a swatch and I threw it in the washing machine and it didn't do anything to it. I have some other swatches laying around with it. I may do that again just to see what happens with it, because if the swatch doesn't felt, I'll be pretty safe putting it on gentle cycle. We'll see. Washing it should make it softer. Again, who knows? This will be my first pullover. I have a cardigan that I'm working on in this yarn as well, but this will be the first one that I'm actually going to finish and get on my body. So maybe I won't be able to handle it. We'll find out pretty quickly though. And that brings me to the end of the test knits that I have been accepted for and that I'm working on. But there is one more, and I will show you her Instagram picture of it. I have been stalking her on Instagram. No lie. I have been just, every day I get on Instagram, I'll look at her site. I go to her account. I'm looking to see if she said anything about test knitting. She does have a test knit group on email, so I went and signed up for that to make sure that I got an email. And this afternoon, I was coming in here, I was going to try to record a short during lunch, and I didn't get that done because I got distracted because there was an email. I saw the email pop up, and it was an email about test knitting this sweater. I think it's called the Winter Soul. It's by Adorable Knits. Oh my gosh. It may be one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. Oh, it is gorgeous. She again uses 2 yarns, and she uses some that it's Majo, I think, yarns. It's something that's, it's not readily available here in the United States at all. I went and looked to see what was equivalent, what would be a good sub, and Drops Air will be a good sub for it. And so I wound up in my reckless spending, decided if I'm going to spend, I'm going to get what I need for this sweater that I am, if I don't get picked to test knit, I will be buying that pattern and casting on the first day it comes out. It is stunning. I mean, I want to wear this so badly, it's not even funny. So again, I bought some Drops Air, and I bought it in these 2 colors. I actually bought 3 colors. I'll show you the other one. I guess the yarn haul, it will be a little bit less because I'm talking about these, but I bought this beautiful, like really, really light gray frost. I don't remember the color. It is a mix, but the color, I don't remember the color name. It's like Frost Mix or Light Frost Mix or something like that. The colorway is 03, and then this is Antarite or something. It's a really dark charcoal gray, and it's color 06. I am keeping pretty much to what her colorways are, because holy cow, it is just so stunning in that colorway that I decided that's really what I wanted. I did also buy, just in case, and I bought this without even knowing how much yarn I needed, so hope to God that I have enough. I've got 15 balls, so I should have plenty, 10 of the light and 5 of the other. And then I also bought the black, because I think hers is actually black. I'm pretty sure that I'm going with the gray, because I really like the gray, I think, better than I like this black. If you think differently, let me know, right? If you really feel strongly that, no, don't use the dark gray, use the black, feel free to let me know. But this is just, this sweater, it has, I don't know that I've ever stalked a release, a test knit before. I did have one other one that I wasn't as diligent, but I was thinking about test knitting the Ovi sweater for Toque's knit. It's a really pretty, and again, I'll put her Instagram picture up here. It's a really pretty all over cable knit. It is really stunning, and I really did want to test knit that, but the deadline was the 2nd of October. I already have, you know, 2 that are due in October, 1 that's due the end of September, 1 that's due the 1st of November, and then the Winter Soul, the one that I signed up for, is also due the 1st of November. I can get them done. That's not the problem, but I didn't want to add something in that I was going to have to get done at the 1st of October. So that one went on my list of, well, I will buy that as soon as it comes out. It's the same way that I did with the Zuri sweater. It's the same designer. And just, she's got some really, really pretty designs. Speaking of that designer, I did make a little bit of progress on my Zuri sweater this week, but not a lot, not enough to justify bringing it in here and talking about it. But I did make some pretty significant progress on some of my other whips. One of them being the Sorrel by Woolen Pine. I am fairly close. I've got a stitch marker here, or a progress keeper. I wanted to show y'all how much progress I got the last week. This is where I was a week ago. I had just split for sleeves, knitted a few rows. I was able to try it on. Well, now I'm all the way down here. I've got a lot done, and I'm hoping to get the body done this week. I probably won't get the whole thing done, but I'd like to get the body done because this is a really, really quick knit. And I'm knitting it in, I've got knitting for all of, I've got a new ball that I need to attach. It's the only reason why this is here. It's knitting for Olive Cherry Blossom, and then the other one that I have is Letha's hand dyed, and I'm about to have to wind up another skein of this. It doesn't have a colorway name. This was before she started coloring it, so I'll just dub it Pretty in Pink. I'm holding those two together, and as you can tell, look at the fabric it makes. Just look at that halo and how pretty it is, and it just, that variegation, it's just stunning. I wish that you could feel this fabric. You know, people talk about that screens had scratch and sniff when you're watching some kind of cooking show so that you could smell it. Well, I would love to have smell-o-vision because I'd love to smell other people's cooking, but boy, I wish that I had feel-o-vision so that y'all could reach through this screen and just feel. It is so soft and squishy, and this is going to quickly become a favorite knit of mine, and I will be wearing this all winter long. But first, I have to get it off the needles. And in order to do that, I've got to get some other things off the needles too. A couple of other things that I've made not a ton of progress, but I have made some pretty significant progress. I've done the 3rd increase here on the Sunday dress. You can see, like, I could stop it and make it into a Sunday top, but I'm not going to. They both wanted dresses, so they're going to get dresses. This is Azalea's. This is the oldest one. I'm making a 8 to 9, but I did use one needle size up. It calls for a 2.5, US 2.5, which is in fact a 3mm. I couldn't remember that the other day. It didn't sound right. And then I used a 3, which is a 3.25mm. And I did that, or I think it's a 3.25. I can look. No, it's a 3.5 because a 4 is, hang on. Am I using a 4? I am actually. I'm using a 4. That's why it's 3.5. Don't even know what needles I'm using. But I did that just to make it a little bit bigger so that she has more room to grow into it. Anna likes me to make them a little bit bigger so that they can wear them for longer. And this, I think, is going to become a favorite knit for them. At least I hope it is. But you can see it's definitely growing. It's about shirt length now. So I've got, I want to say I've got 5 more increases, and each increase is like 20 row repeat. So I've got, like, I'm not going to tell you anything else because this is by Petite Knit. It's a paid pattern. It's a great pattern. But each repeat section is a 20 row section. And so I think I've got No, maybe not. I may have 3 or 4 more left, so about 60 rows or so. It'll be long. It won't be like dragging the floor long, but it'll be long enough that she'll be able to wear it for a couple of years. And then her little sister Emberlyn is getting this one, which is also by Petite Knit, and I've gotten significantly longer. Did I just do? No, I am, the next 5 rows that I do, because I try to do them in 5 row segments, will be in an increase row. This one's every 25 rows. And I don't remember how many there are, but you can see this is a little shorter. I am using the 2.5. I'm doing a 5/6 size. And this is the Anchors dress by Petite Knit. And you saw me look at this little marker, and I'll tell you about this little marker. I love these markers. I have 6 or 7 of them. Not everybody loves them, but they just dangle on your needle, on your round needle as you're knitting along. They're not that expensive. I don't know, $4 or so. And I love them. This is how I keep track of my sleeves. This is how I keep track of anything that is in the round that I need to keep track of rows before I do something. I need this many rows before I do this. Or in the case of sleeves, I want the same number of rows for my left sleeve as I have on my right sleeve. I pretty much know now I like my sleeves about 100 rows long. Not every sleeve, if it's a bigger gauge, may not be that many, but like for the Monday sweater, I want 100 rows before I start my ribbing. It's very easy to keep track of it if I've got that hanging there, because every time, that is my beginning of the round marker. Every time I get to it, I just move that. So this one, I've done 45 rows on the skirt, and I'm about to do 1 more increase on. And hopefully next week I will have a little bit more done on that. I have found a pattern for the little one that is due to be born in January. And it was on Hobie. It's called, I think it's called the Pumpkin Dress. They did it in orange, and I think it's got green around here. I'll do it in a solid color. And they do it where, and it's a free pattern from Hobie. But they do it where you do increases for the dress, but then it comes in to kind of look like a pumpkin, and it's a newborn size. I won't do the decreases and bring it in. I'll just do it plain. But it is an all over ribbing. So it ribs from the top to the bottom. So I thought that would be a really good complement for both of these, that you see they both have ribbing. I wanted them to go together, but not match, because Azalea is at the age where she does not want to match her little sister anymore. And I get that. I have a friend who has 2 sisters, and she hated matching. After you get to be a certain age, you kind of want to have your own stuff and not have to match your little brother or little sister. I used to do it to my boys when they were young too. And then finally they're like, we are not wearing the same clothes anymore, Mom. Stop buying us the same exact thing. So I did. I let them pick their clothes, and they have pretty different ideas about what they want to wear. Cameron is blue jeans and t-shirt. Brandon also is blue jeans, but he's more of a button-down guy, or a work shirt, or, you know, he's not a big t-shirt guy. He'll wear t-shirts, but he's not a big sweater guy. I've told y'all over and over, he will not let me knit him a sweater. One of these days I may just make him one and be like, just wear it to church one time for me and I'll be happy. We'll see. But he keeps telling me not to. But back to, right, this is also, did not say this in the intro, but this is also the podcast to go to if you like tangents, because I can go off on little tangents. But back to the dresses, you can see, right, this has a ribbing, and it expands out. This one also has a ribbing up top. Let's see if I can hold them both together. But you see, it's a wider ribbing. So they complement each other, right? They both are ribbing, but they're not the same, so they don't match. And little one, the youngest one, will also have ribbing, so she also will complement and go without having to match. And then little man, he's got a little shirt that he's going to have a little Henley. I've got one more sleeve that I need to do for it. I haven't touched it at all. It will get done. It will just be a really fast knit. Getting that second sleeve done, it'll take me a few hours to get it done, and then you attach it and the yoke goes really quick. All right. That is everything that I've got on my needles that I made real progress on this week. It's not everything I have on my needles. If you want to see everything that I have on my needles, things that weren't included here, I've got some new things, so they wouldn't have been included there, but I'll put a link up to my Whips Whips Everywhere. And it says Whips Whips Everywhere, not a finished object in sight. Kind of a little play off the poem, but it shows all of the projects that I'm working on right now, whether I've made any progress or not. Now, if you are leaving me now because you are not into consumerism, you're not into the yarn hauls, thank you so much for spending the time with me. If you're hanging around, let me show you my beautiful yarn. Guys, I might have done some reckless spending. Now, let me clarify that with, it was planned reckless spending. I probably shouldn't have bought this much, but I do have plans for everything. I budgeted for it. I knew how much I was going to spend. I probably spent a lot less than what you think I spent on it, but I got some good deals. I bought things on sale. It's just beautiful, and some of it I just cannot wait to get on my needles. I'm going to save that for last, but first I'm going to talk about, I ordered from both Rito and Lindy Hobby again, and I ordered mostly drops, right? I showed you the air that I bought. I also bought some alpaca in a few different colors. I don't have all of the colors here because over there you can kind of see right there is one of the buckets that I keep my projects that have yarn and patterns assigned to them in. That's my DK bucket, my sport and DK. You can see it's overflowing. I've got a lot, but over there is a thing of yarn, and I'll get to this in just a minute, but let me know if you want to see, I'll just go ahead and ask it now. Let me know if you want to see a video about my stash. Cameron was like, you know, Mom, I think that would be a pretty interesting video to do, is showing them your stash, what all you have, all the beautiful yarns you have, and how you store it and how you assign things to it. If y'all are interested in that, let me know. I'll have to get a few things moved around and stuff to where it's not quite such a mess, but because you cannot see the mess that's in front of me. But if y'all want to see that, I'd be happy to do that. So back to yarn acquisitions. Over there is a bag that is a lot of different drops alpacas. The base is going to be white, but I've got this pattern, and I'll put the pattern up here just because I think this is a beautiful pattern by Expression Fiber Arts. I've had it for a long time. If you're not following them, you really should, because every Friday she puts out a free pattern. Sometimes they're crochet patterns, sometimes they're knitted patterns, sometimes it'll be one that you can crochet or knit. But it is a great way to get some really nice free patterns. You just sign up for her newsletter, and then she also does a giveaway every month of a ton of yarn. And she's got really nice yarn. I've bought several things and knitted several things in her yarn. So I'm going to do one of her patterns, though. It's a sport weight pattern, but I'm going to do it in the drops alpaca. And so the background is going to be white, and you can see by the picture how many different colors are in there. It calls for 7 to 12 contrast colors. I think I got 12 different. They're not all drops alpaca. I have some, I think it's called Hergeron. It translates into hearts. I've got some of that, and I think I also got some Yarbo, I believe, alpaca. So it wasn't just drops. I did get several different colors, greens and burgundies and navy blues, and I did get some that are kind of a brighter color, pop of color, some purples, some pinks, etc. But then to do solid colored sweaters, I got these two right here. This was originally going to be for Lucid. And then after I swatched it, I decided it just wasn't the right color for that pattern. The swatch is fine, and it does, this is another one of those yarns that kind of doesn't knit up as nice as it blocks out. And I will have to do another swatch with it. The next swatch that I do with the alpaca, I will have to take some pictures before and after blocking, because it really does make a difference in how nice it looks afterwards. This gray was also an alternative, but I decided I didn't really want to do a gray one. So I'm not really sure I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these two, but I will find something to make out of these two because they are just beautiful colors. Still staying on the drops alpaca, I got these two to make a sweater. It's called Twigs, but it's a pretty colorwork sweater, and so I'm going to use the red as the background and this grayish color as the contrast. The original is like dark brown and gray, or dark brown and beige. I got some Navia Trio, and this is a I think it calls itself a worsted, but honestly it's more like a DK. It really does knit up like a DK. I've got some brown in this too, and I'm planning on doing a petite knit cardigan out of this. So I bought, everything I've bought is sweater quantity, and this is just, it's called Zinfandel. It is just gorgeous. So I decided that I needed something made out of this. So again, I bought it. It was on sale. I love a good sale. Cannot resist a good sale. I have to stop looking at sales. But there we are. And then I got, for the last of my drops that I have over here anyway, I got some Drops Lima. There are a couple of pullovers, and I already have some drops, and I got the colorway she used. It's called the Lilyhammer pullover, and there's another one. I'll put them up here. There's two of them, and I'll put them up here. They're similar. They're by the same designer. Beautiful all over color work. And I got these to go with one of those. I think it's the one that starts with the A. I'll put them up here, and I'll show you. They're just both beautiful. But I got these to go with that. I'm gonna make, this will be, it's really, it's enough of a color work that I'm not sure that it's really a main color and a contrast, but these will go together. This will, I think this has more, and this one will be the contrast. And then I bought some Jamieson and Smith because I found this pattern, and I'll again put a picture up here. I'll actually put a picture of the colorways that I got, because the pattern itself I really loved. But when I was looking through the projects that were created for this pattern, this colorway, I was like, I normally don't copy people, and I normally don't get the same colors as the designer uses. But boy, this one, I was just like, it's perfection. I cannot, I can't improve on perfection, so of course not. So I bought the color she bought. And I bought these that go with this. Not sure I can hold all of this. Yeah, here we go. I also let you laugh at me. But it's going to be, these colors are what's going to make up the sweater. And I had to get a cone of this. Look at this. It is stunning. Oh my gosh. I will have enough left of this to do another sweater in. And that is the plan. Held with or without mohair, don't know yet. But this will be a future sweater besides just the color work. But you can see how pretty these colors are. And you'll see whenever I show you the picture. Right. I'm not going to be able to get all of these in here. There. Yes, look. So this one's another one of those that kind of has little flecks in it, but the rest of them are pretty solid. And that will be that sweater. I don't remember the name of it. I'll put it up here whenever I show it. And then last but not least, this. And I dropped one. It ran away, guys. Hang on. I had to reach back here and get it. I ordered, I have been watching, I watch the Australian girls, I watch Lovely Day Knits, and by the way, I want to call out and thank Lovely Day Knits. Lovely Day Stitches, I'm sorry, I even said her name wrong. It's Alicia. Her name is Alicia. She is absolutely lovely, just like the name of her podcast says. She is so sweet. I reached out to her asking her for some help with some things on my podcast. And not only did she respond, she was so incredibly kind. She sent me a video showing me how to do something. Just so sweet. So Alicia, if you do watch this, thank you so much. You have just been a godsend to me. And so I watch the girls. I watch her. I watch Tash. I watched some of the other ones. There's one that's an American that lives in Australia, and I cannot remember her name, but there's several. Alicia actually has a video about the Australian podcast, so go check that out if you're interested in seeing some other Australian girls. But they just had Bendigo Wool Festival. And, oh, guys, I am going to have to get to Australia. I'm going to go. It's going to be so that I can go to Bendigo the Wool and Chic Festival. Let's just be honest. I want to go over there and buy some yarn. They have this place called Bendigo Woolen Mill. I have been, like, really wanting their yarn for a while. So I decided, I reached out and asked them to send me a, what's it called? A color card. That's it, a color card. I kind of thought that they would blow it off and not do it because I'm in the US. But they did. They sent it to me. So I decided that there was some yarn that I really wanted to buy. This is an Aran weight, so it's a 12 ply. I think that, no, 10 ply, sorry. It's a 10 ply. And I wanted to buy this. It's their rustic tweed. Look at these colors. I had originally ordered this color, and then this one was going to be linen, which is a wider color, and I'll put the sweater up here that I'm going to make out of it. And it'd been like 10 days and I hadn't gotten a shipping notice yet. So I reached out and I was like, hey, is something going on? What's, any updates? Because we were coming up on, I might have to pay some tariffs. And they responded back to me. And I don't remember the ladies' names that did it. I'll try to look at the email and put them up here, but they were so incredibly sweet. They replied back to me that the linen was not ready yet, and they have to have it all ready to ship, and that it was still being made, and it can take up to 4 weeks apparently to make this yarn. Well, who knew? I had no idea it might take that long to make yarn. So she sent me some information about how they do it as well, but she also sent me back because she gave me options. She said, you can swap out linen for a different color. You can cancel the linen and we'll ship the rest of it. You could cancel the whole order. Well, I thought about it and I was like, well, I don't really want to cancel anything, or I could wait for linen. Sorry, I could also wait for linen. So 4 options. I came up with my own 5th option, which I'll tell you about. But I sent back to her and I was like, well, because if I wait for linen, I may have to pay tariffs. And she was like, you'll just have to accept that your government's going to charge you an unknown amount of money. So basically what I said to that was, well, whatever I get charged, it's still cheaper than getting on a plane and coming to your store. So if I decide to go that way, I will accept the fact that I'll have to pay some money and we don't know how much it'll be. But I asked her what she thought about the hickory and let's see if it gives me a name. No, it's shade 956. I want to say it might be, I don't remember. Anyway, but it's beige, right? So I asked her about these 2. And then I asked her, there's a purple, a blue, and a evergreen, a nice pretty green. And then there's another one called confetti that's kind of a white with different specks. You can see these have like their tweedy nips are more brown, beige, a little bit of a like umber color, I would say, like a sienna. The confetti is more like red and blue and green. So I asked her about some pairings. Not only did she come back and say, hey, these might look good, she sent me pictures of all of the ones that I asked about. That was my 5th selection, was, hey, maybe I'll trade out both of them. She sent me pictures back and then made comments like, well, the green and the confetti. Oh, and there was like a light blue that I was thinking about too. It was like the neps, the little tweedy part is different colors. So while the colorway would look okay together, I'm not sure that those would really go. But she sent me pictures of all of these things. And I ultimately landed on, and she also sent me a picture of the 8 ply in the hickory and the linen so that I could see what those look like together. And I ultimately, obviously, because they're here, I decided on the beige. I could have waited. It would have been done that Monday, but I just wanted this yarn so bad. And so I went ahead and said yes on Thursday, I think it was, and they shipped it off that afternoon. It was fantastic. And this is squishy and soft and silky, and I cannot wait to make it into a sweater. And then with that, I also got this lovely cranberry. This is 100% cotton, and it's a fingering weight. Guys, it's cotton. I mean, it is beautiful. The colorway is gorgeous. It's got a nice, really pretty hand feel, but it's cotton. If I order from them again, which I probably will, because it kind of wants more of that tweed, I doubt I'll order the cotton again just because it's cotton. I can get really good cotton here too. But I wanted to see. And also, these are really cool because they're 200 grams. So, like, 2 of these, 2 balls will make me a sweater. I've always wanted to be able to say, oh, I only used 2 balls and I made a sweater. I can use 2 balls and make well, it won't be a sweater. It'll be a t-shirt. But still, 2 balls, right? I'm a little chunky girl. I don't get to say that very often. It's usually 5, 6 skeins. So I was really excited. And honestly, guys, the exchange rate for Australian dollars is pretty dang good. It's like 65 cents or something like that. So it was pretty good. So I got a good deal. And that is it. That is, well, I'm not sure that that's all of the yarn that I brought in because I have put some of it up, so I didn't pull it out. But that's the major parts of it. And with that, I'm going to switch to my personal. I started my new job on Tuesday, guys. And so far, I've had a lot of fun. It's a great group of people. There's 7 of us. We've been getting to know each other. And I shared with them today that I have this podcast. And one of the other guys, Selwyn, he has one called Goat Debate Media. He talks about who is the GOAT in basketball. And let me just say, it is Michael Jordan. There is no question about that. It is Michael Jordan. So come at me if you want to, but it is Michael Jordan. And I will take that to my dying day unless somebody else comes along and just blows Michael Jordan out of the water. Don't think that's going to happen. He's pretty amazing. But so we've had a lot of fun. We have, been doing our thing. We've been doing our agile stuff, coming up with working agreements, coming up with, what are we going to try to do? What does success look like? What's our 30, 90, 60, 90-day plan? All of the things that you do at the start of a project. And we've just been having, a lot of fun. It's a great group of people. And I'm really excited to get to work with them more. Other than that, I haven't been to the yarn shop this week because I've been working, guys. So having not been there, it's been a little different. My car's in the shop though. I was gonna try to pop up there yesterday afternoon for a few minutes because I've got something to give to Jackie, but I'll just leave it with Letha. I was gonna try to pop up there a few minutes yesterday, but my car's in the shop and I've got to go get it here soon. And I just, I hate driving Cameron's car. I can drive Cameron's car. I don't love Cameron's car. It's really low to the ground. And you would think that me being short that would be okay, but I just do not like getting in and out of that car. So I decided that I wouldn't. I'd just hang out here yesterday. And I hung out here after we got done. My client is on Eastern Standard Time. So while I do have to start earlier, I also get to end in plenty of time to be able to do a few things before 5 o'clock. So I haven't been to the yarn shop, but I am going today because tonight is our knit night. And I also I'll try to get a little bit of video tonight of the ladies and maybe put it up as a little short and have a little voiceover or something and just talk about the wonderful ladies at the yarn shop. But if that doesn't happen, I'll try next week to at least put a picture of them up here. We'll see what they say tonight. And I'm just going to go and enjoy my ladies. And tomorrow is Friday and 1 week down at work. Man, time goes by fast. And with that, guys, if y'all have hung out with me for this long, thank you. It's been about 45 minutes and you have a lot of other options. And I do appreciate y'all hanging out with me. And I just realized I forgot to ask the question of the week. So what I'm going to ask you is, and I'm going to put it up here. What is your fantasy knit? I have a fantasy knit. I want so badly, so badly to knit the Henry VIII by Alice Starmore. That is my ultimate fantasy knit. I probably will not buy a kit from her because while the colors are great and they look wonderful, they're not my colors. So what I thought I would do is I would probably use some Jamieson and Smith yarn because it seems pretty comparable. And what I will do is, apparently they have a book, and I'll see if I can get a hold of it. I just saw it on Ruth, what is it? Ruth Loves to Knit, I think it is. She's great. She's over in England, but she's from Ireland. And she had this little book that was like, it showed colors that went together, and it had colorway. I was like, oh, I might need that. And there's apparently a volume 1 and a volume 2. Well, let me tell you, when they start shipping back to the United States, that is going to go on my list. I'm going to have to get that so that I can see, hey, what goes together, so that I can try to plan that out, because there's a lot of colors in this Henry VIII, as you can see, because it's still up here. I'll leave it up here for a while. So please share with me your fantasy knits. Also, what's on your needles? What are you working on? Running into any problems? Just having a lot of fun? Just drop me a line. Let me know. And I will see y'all later. Have a great one.